Thank you, Dick. And I'm very pleased to be joining SunPower and Flextronic teams today to celebrate the opening of the plant and the good jobs that will come from it. I'm also pleased to join with Governor Brown, who's been a powerful voice for seizing the economic opportunities of clean energy. I should say, this is going to reveal how old I am. In 1975, Governor Brown was elected governor, the youngest governor in the state of California. I was a graduate student, an old graduate student at the time. And the first of the oil shocks had hit the United States and the world in 73, 74. And Governor Brown did a number of stupendous things in order to deal with this and set California on a path, an energy efficiency, on clean energy that we have today. So from 1975 onward till today, the average family in California has used roughly the same amount of electricity since 75 today. The rest of the United States went up 55%. So we have another set of oil shocks, so it's good that California got back Jerry Brown, and so this time we can go forward and do more. In a few minutes, Governor Brown will be signing into law a groundbreaking piece of legislation that would put California at the forefront of the clean energy economy. And by requiring utilities to get 1/3 of their electricity from renewables by 2020, California will unleash clean energy innovation and clean energy investments. And it's this law that will create new jobs, attract new businesses, and help protect public health. Now, Governor Brown, I have some more good news. He asked me, am I going to give him something today? And I said, only if he's nice to me. So far, he's been nice. So today, we're announcing federal investments that will help you meet this ambitious goal. Yesterday, the Department of Energy finalized a $1.6 billion loan guarantee from BrightSource Energy. That's finalizing it. That's one of the world's largest solar thermal projects. And this project, to remind you, is in the Mojave Desert in southeastern California, and will produce nearly 1 million megawatt hours of electricity per year, enough to power 85,000 homes, and expected to create 1,000 jobs. But today, I'm pleased to announce we're offering a conditional commitment for a nearly $1.2 billion loan guarantee to support another large solar project, the California Valley Solar Ranch project, sponsored by SunPower. So that's another SunPower project, and it's expected to create more than 350 jobs, including a 250 megawatt photovoltaic solar generating facility in San Luis Obispo County. And we'll be able to power nearly 60,000 homes. Loan guarantees help accelerate the deployment of innovative, commercially ready technologies. Including these two projects, the department has committed more than $27 billion for 26 clean energy projects that will create or save over 60,000 jobs across the country. This is just the start of our strategy to lead a clean energy innovation race, and under President Obama's leadership, we're jumping in the clean energy race, and we're playing to win. The President has proposed an ambitious but achievable goal of doubling the amount of electricity we generate from clean energy sources by 2035. And with your new renewable standard, California can and is leading the way in helping meet the President's goal. We're also taking aggressive action to make sure clean energy technologies are invented in America and made in America. This includes providing critical support for research and development. More than 25 years ago, funds for the Department of Energy helped Dick Swanson turn an idea into a company. And through the years, the department has continued to partner with SunPower, including providing support to help open doors to this new facility. We've also launched, as Dick Swanson has said, a new Sunshot initiative to help make America the world's leader in solar energy. Again, turning the clock backward, by the late 70s, early 80s, the United States, led by California, was a leader in exporter of solar photovoltaics. It was the leader in wind technology. and we've lost those leads. And we mean to get them back. So, by the end of the decade, our goal is to make solar cost competitive with other forms of energy, all other forms of energy. And this would be a game changer for us, opening up the world of export opportunities. California's innovators and businesses can help us achieve this goal. As part of the Sunshot effort, last week we announced a total of $50 million to 2 California projects to advance solar photovoltaic manufacturing. Stanford and UC Berkeley are leading a consortium that will be able to develop and test new technologies aimed at improving solar PV performance and bringing down manufacturing costs. At SVTC Technologies in San Jose, they're creating a development facility that entrepreneurs can use for product development. And by revving up the great American innovation machine, the United States can win in the clean energy race and capture jobs for the 21st century. Thanks to forward-looking policies and forward-looking businesses like SunPower, California will be the center of the action in helping the United States build a bright energy future. And again, congratulations to Flectronics, congratulations to SunPower, congratulations to California.
Thank you. It's really good to be here. I can think back in 1975 when all this was pretty much of a dream. And California was a pioneer, not just because I signed a bill, which I did, but just because California is a place of innovation, of creativity, of the unexpected. That's what makes the difference. And I show up in that environment, and I like to do things that are unexpected and creative as well. Back in 1975, we had a bill that I signed that gave a 55% tax credit for solar installations. Then it was mostly solar hot water heating, but there was some photovoltaic. And as Secretary Chu said, we were the leader in wind technology. And we were and are the leader in energy efficiency in our buildings and in our appliances. So this is something to be proud of, and it's part of a long line of pioneers in California. I feel a particular affinity to the pioneering spirit because my own forebears, my great-grandfather, came out here to seek his own fortune in the hills of Northern California. And people came not knowing, having to invent for themselves a living and well-being out of the landscape. And today we're doing the same thing. Instead of just taking oil from thousands of miles away, we're taking the sun and converting it through photovoltaic cells and through other solar technologies. So this is really the great opportunity and the great challenge. We are facing, though, a very retrogressive spirit. There are people who deny science, who say evolution doesn't happen, who say there's no such thing as climate change, who think we can drill our way to happiness and self-sufficiency. It's not true. We can invent and create our way to sustainability, but we have to do it based on science and common sense and collaboration. And I have to say, our president, more than any other president in history, has been signing bills and taking the leadership to invest in sustainable energy technology. I mean, we are making progress, despite the fact that we're up against stalemates regarding the budget in Washington and in Sacramento. We have to confront the myth that the whole problem is government. Well, government has plenty of problems. So does business. And sometimes you need government right there. When the banks were out there borrowing and leveraging and creating a bubble that caused the livelihoods of millions of people to disappear, where was government? It wasn't there, and it wasn't doing what it had to do. Well, today, government is here in the form of our public utilities, regulations and activities in regarding the state legislature and the laws that we're passing, and regarding the loan guarantees from the federal government, and then the creativity and the innovation and the risk-taking of the private sector and businesses and investors. So it's about collaboration. And sometimes we have to have confrontation, and it gets very partisan. But that isn't what America is all about. That's part, and it's important. But what we celebrate today is the benefit of collaborating between government, state, federal, and private business. And this is my path. I mean, I didn't know in 1975 I'd have to come back 36 years later and get it done again, but here I am. And I want to tell you, I'm not leaving till we get it finished, because we will get it done. Now, I didn't get my name Governor Moonbeam for nothing. I earned it by advocating ideas that were not popular. I remember, they said it was Don Quixote that tilted at windmills. Well, the windmills, we had problems. Federal government threw a lot of money at it. In fact, you could put up a windmill, even if you didn't generate any wind, you made a lot of tax benefits. So there were excesses. But the price of change and innovation is failure. And failure leads to success. That's what I say in Sacramento. Breakdown paves the way for breakthrough. Well, we'll get to that breakthrough later. But today, our breakthrough is 33% of our energy from renewable sources. How incredible that is. And we are going to keep on track. So I think we're ready to bring the senator up, and I think it is really nice. We ought to just kind of I don't know how to put it, but things are so dismal when it comes to trying to get Republicans and Democrats to work together and getting the budget. So that is a problem. But today, we have something that is a real success story. It's California leading the country. It's America potentially leading the world. And I have to put out a challenge. If I understand it right, last year, 6,000 megawatts of solar installations were produced by China and 1,000 by the United States. Now, are we up for changing that? I think we are. And that's what I intend to do, everything I can, through the Energy Commission, through the Public Utilities Commission, through the legislature, through advocacy. We're going to get it done. And we have the ability. But to get it done, you got to invest in the schools, you got to invest in the university, you got to invest in new ideas and new technology, and you can't be afraid to be called a moonbeam, weird, deviant, interesting, unexpected, and let's get it done. Senator, will you come up here so we can sign this bill?
Let me just say, it is a rare and gratifying occasion when California can, in a single day, take steps to clean our air, combat climate change, protect California ratepayers from price spikes and market manipulation by diversifying our energy portfolio, when we can move toward an American foreign policy based on American values and American interests rather than America's energy needs, and when we can bring investment dollars, tax revenues, and jobs to the state of California. The action we take today sends a clear signal to the market that California is serious about its commitment to 33% renewable energy by the year 2020. And I have no doubt that the market will respond with investment dollars, tax revenues, and jobs for a state that is hungry to have them. Now, we know here in Silicon Valley what this means for a high-tech hub like Milpitas, Santa Clara County, San Mateo County, Alameda County. But I think it's important to understand the economic benefits of the action that we take today for the entire state. Because there are folks up and down the state who are hungry for work, and when there is high desert sun, the jobs will follow. When there is Tehachapi wind, the jobs will follow. When there is biomass in the Central Valley and geothermal in the Imperial Valley, the jobs will follow, and prosperity will come again to folks who have been waiting far too long for the opportunity to put their hard work and creative initiative into play. We're here today because there was an extraordinary coalition of folks who were willing to come together. And for those of you who keep Sacramento at a distance, and perhaps understandably so, I think you would have been pleased to see the folks who worked together side by side, many of whom I see here today. Business and labor, side by side. Consumer advocates, working side by side with investor-owned utilities. Publicly owned utilities, working with renewable energy developers. all pushing for that 33% by 2020 goal. And let me assure you that there were some Republicans who came along. There was support in both our state assembly and our state senate. On the Senate side, the joint authors of the bill, our President Pro Tem Darrell Steinberg, my colleague Senator Christine Kehoe, were advocates from day one and did everything they could to help. And when it was time to work the legislation through the California State Assembly, Speaker John Perez said, absolutely, how can we make this happen, and sooner rather than later? And there was a triumvirate. They don't know this, but I always thought of them as the holy trinity of renewable energy. State Assembly Member Stephen Bradford, State Assembly Member Nancy Skinner, State Assembly Member Wes Chesbrough, who saw this measure through from first day to last. I'd like to ask them to stand, and please join me in thanking them. One moment. Before we ask them up for the signing, I want to express my personal appreciation to the administration at the national level and at the state level for sending the message, creating the climate in which these kinds of good works can happen. That tone is set on a daily basis by the Obama administration and the Brown administration, and that is the kind of leadership we need if we're going to make this real. If you're a state legislator and you have a bill signed, you tend to think of that as the end of the process. You're done. In fact, that's not the case. Today is only the beginning. And I believe that a decade from now, when we have hit 33% by 2020, we will look back on this day and say, look what California has done. And each and every one of you who is here today can be proud to have been part of that decade of progress that we're going to see between now and 2020. Thank you so much, Governor Brown. Mr. Secretary, pleasure to be with you.
Get behind me there, lady. Now, we don't have all those pins.
No, I noticed that.
Well, all right, we're getting ready here. This is one of the few things I can do without having to ask anybody's permissions. What is the day today, by the way? What's the date today, guys?
Today's the 12th.
The 12th, all right. There it is, okay? Done. And thank you very much.
You know, I think we're doing good things for the environment, certainly cleaning up the air, addressing climate change. We're also doing good things for the economy. We're going to see jobs and investment dollars and tax revenues flow to California as a result of this effort. I think it's also important to realize that we're going to do good things for the foreign policy of this country. We're going to be able to pursue an American foreign policy based on American values and American interests rather than America's energy needs. And in terms of ratepayer protection, this is the diversification of our portfolio we need to make sure we don't go through another energy crisis like we saw a decade ago. When we diversify our energy portfolio, that means the rate spikes and market manipulation we were subject to a decade ago are far less likely. It's a protection. This is a protection for California ratepayers against the kind of market manipulation and rate spikes we saw a decade ago. We are headed towards 20% renewables. We'll hit that target this year. It seemed to me this was the obvious next step. It makes California's renewable efforts the most ambitious in the country, but we're on a chart to success, and we're going to get there by 2020. the governor is always thinking about the next step. So the first thing he said is, what are we going to do to make sure that we get to 33% by 2020? And hey, when can we talk about 40%? So I think it is important to ask ourselves, what do we need to do to make sure we're successful in reaching the goal? If that means permitting and streamlining, that's where we ought to spend our time and effort to make sure we get to that place.
So we are having a lot of defects in this area to make sure that we are. Okay. Moving to the next stage. The strings are presented into the auto layup that then lays this matrix, lays these strings into a matrix.